How does grief and loss become a portal, not just a pain, but to revelation and to wholeness? And I think, your story has been a really good example of that, but how does that actually work? I mean, just give us some more of the, what you felt and what came about and getting to that love.
I would say, while I explain the science of the grief, how it puts you into a state that lasts almost about 12 weeks, by the way, where you're in that state of being on a psychedelic journey. And so you're really open. And if you can meet it with presence and with acceptance and with allowing it to flow through you, it really does break you open. You begin to go into places inside of you where you start to feel the waves and the rhythms of emotion when you stop resisting things.
Right.
And it's letting go of that resistance and also letting go of clinging. So it's really kind of finding this middle path in life where
and choosing that,
actively choosing it all the time.
Yeah.
Hello, my extraordinary women friends. This episode with my dear friend Joya Sosnowski will touch your heart like it touched mine. Reverend Dr. Joya Sosnowski is a grief walker, a ritualist, a sound healer, and the founder of That Mystic. But more than that, she is a woman who has walked through the fire of personal loss and emerged with a deeper message for all of us. In this conversation, Joya shares her journey of losing her son and what unfolded on the other side. We talk about the neuroscience of grief, the mystic path that opened for her, and how grief, when we meet it fully, can become a portal to our own awakening. Joya's story is full of wisdom, presence, and radical grace. And I'm here to share that Joya will be in the room at Extraordinary Women Ignite this November. Ignite is a gathering of women rising in voice, visibility, and impact, rooted in our truth, lit up with purpose. Joya embodies this. She lives it. If you're feeling the call to reconnect with your own inner flame, to lead, to express, to live aligned with your soul's deepest knowing, come join us. Be in this circle of extraordinary women. Tickets are available at CamiGuildner.com/ignite, and be sure to use the code EWR to save $200. Now let's meet Joya Sosnowski.
Well, welcome to Extraordinary Women Radio, Joya. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thanks, Cami, for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yeah, I have loved watching your journey and all that's unfolded. Well, I know you've had some hard things and some really wonderful things, but watching your journey of you unfold is just amazing. I've known you for several years now, and I love what's happening for you and what you're bringing into the world. I think it's really needed in our world right now, and so I know you are being divinely guided into the work that you're doing. And it's so magical seeing all the downloads and all the wonder that you're receiving that you are meant to bring into the world.
Yeah. Thank you, Cami. I know it's, I feel it's such a hodgepodge of feelings that I have with it. But most of it is like extreme gratitude and deep reverence that I just feel like it feels very sacred, and I hold it with such importance. And also knowing that, anytime I'm talking about someone's emotions or feelings or their soul, that comes with such a feeling of responsibility for me.
Yeah. So just to kick us off, kind of bring everyone into what's happened for you in this year. And, so just kind of bring that journey into play so that we know where you've been and what's coming from this, also very tragic circumstance that's happened in your life, but what's flowing from that on the other side of it.
It's pretty unbelievable. 2025 started out, I had finished up 2024. I did a really big high investment coaching program in 2024, got all of my ducks finally in a row. They were all now huddled in a line. They were going to behave themselves. And I had invested a lot of money and time and energy into my growth and spiritual alignment and just so much. And so when 2025 started, I was ready to go. And still there was something, like looking back, I was like and I journaled about it. I'm an incessant journaler. There was something I could feel that was in my heart that was just a block. And no matter what I did, I felt like I could not fully open it. I couldn't, I mean, through meditation, mindfulness, self-compassion, drumming, singing, chanting, art, all the things that I've done, I still felt like there was just something there. And I was always like, what is this in my heart? Help me to open this, God. I don't know what this is. And I had a premonition about my son um, on the trip that he was going to go. And I spent that day begging him not to go on this trip. And he decided he was going to go. And in fact, we laughed together really hard because I started crying even that I was like, please don't go. I'm like, something
Oh,
terrible is going to
wow.
happen. And he just
Oh,
started laughing and pointed at me. He goes, you're crying about something that hasn't even happened. And then I started laughing too about it. I was like, I know, but I just really feel something's going to happen. And um, on that Monday, he died in a car accident. And everything that's transpired since then has just been so mind blowing, heart opening, soul awakening on so many levels. And the day before the accident happened, I was actually meditating and I heard a message that said, it's time to get reacquainted with grief. Grace descends upon the heart that has been broken open. And I actually posted about it on my Instagram. So there's an Instagram post about this the day before that my son passed. And
wow.
um, he started coming to me when I was within 24 hours. He came into my consciousness, and I was like, I could feel his essence, and I could feel this rush of emotion inside of me that wasn't my own. And
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Wow, Mom, I had no idea what you were up to," and then it was gone, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Weston, was that you?" And it had the feeling like in the beginning, like, when anybody who's gone through major grief like that or trauma or shock, like there's a
Mm-hmm.
shock that it's like
Right.
it just feels so strange. And within that first couple of weeks, because I've been a mindfulness trainer and all of the things that I have done, I'm very self-aware of what's going on inside of me.
Right. Right.
And so I started doing research about grief because I'm like, what is grief actually doing to me right now? And
Mm-hmm.
Cami, I could not believe what I found. And I'm like, why are people not shouting this from the rooftops? This people have to know this. We live in such a society where grief and loss and these hard things, these harder things that people go through are shut away. That no one wants to deal with it. No one wants to talk about it. Take a pill for it, hurry through it, get over it. This whole attitude that our culture has around grief and death and dying and loss. And but what's really happening is that your brain maps on a brain scan almost identical to a brain on psychedelics. And when I found that out, I was like, whoa, my part of my brain that tells me who I am is unplugged, which is why everybody who goes through grief has that feeling of who am I in the world with this loss I'm going through. And then you're opened up to mystical experiences because of the um, way that the brain is working when you're in grief. And so I'm like, okay, these experiences I'm having, I'm not losing my mind. This isn't
Right.
an act of a mother who's desperately trying to reach her child. Like, he's coming through to me because
Yeah.
I was already mystically in tuned. I've already been a mystical person my whole life. And
Right.
I really found myself through that process. I realized immediately, and this is why I talk about this now, because I don't want people to get stuck. Knowing in mindfulness about neuroplasticity, how the brain works. Also, the heart has neurons and our gut has neurons, right? We have these three brains, not one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knew that if I went into that space of grief where I should have done this, why didn't I do that? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't that happen? That I was going to wire myself to get stuck.
Into
And
that sticky place. Exactly. I can just like see that tension happening there.
yep.
That can happen.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sure you've met people that are stuck in their
Yeah.
grief
Well, heck,
and
we've all been in places like that.
in that loop. Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
so just I chose to go through my grief process very mindfully and very present.
So
And
very wise, Joya. I
mhm,
mean, just so very wise to be able to see that there was a different way in the moment of it. Because I think so often you can get to the other side of it and see there was another way, but you were in the moment of it where you were just very intentional about doing it differently?
Well, because I had the experience of my mind went there where it was, I went to that place of why didn't I stop him? Why did I let him go? And I could feel myself before I even realized what was happening in my mind. My body was reacting to it. And I started having a massive anxiety attack. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was having a heart attack. But luckily, thank God, I know what to do for that. And I had a
Mm-hmm.
friend who's also a somatic trauma therapist, and I called her and I'm like, help. And so we did some breathing and some moving. And when my nervous system relaxed, I realized that I was having that thought that was saying, why didn't you stop him? Why did you let him
Mm-hmm.
go? And then that's
Mm-hmm.
when I realized it, that I said, oh, there's two kinds of grieving. There's the present moment. My heart is broken. My son is gone, grieving. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's the story grieving that goes with
Of
that.
what could be, what could have
Yeah.
been.
And
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing you could do about it
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So I chose to not allow my mind to do that to me. I was like, I will not allow my mind to do that to me. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so I
Yes.
just chose to turn toward.
So you turned toward and you started really receiving lots of messages from Weston.
Massive messages from Weston. Yeah. Profound messages from Weston. And I'm actually putting them together now I'm calling it the Mystic Path, that they're
Mm-hmm.
just such a tangible, practical way to not only walk through grief, but to go through life. And
Mm-hmm.
the number one thing, as you know, was trusting myself. And
Right.
that was such a huge issue in my life. And that was the part of my heart that had been calcified open, and I realized that when my heart broke for my son and I chose
Mm.
to be present in that breaking, that of course that opens up everything. And I fell into caverns inside of myself that I didn't even know existed. I didn't even
Wow.
know were there inside of me.
Wow. And
And
how did you maneuver through the caverns and the, just the pace of downloads that you were getting? I mean, how did you weave through that?
well, I spent a lot of my time, I think, and I'm very so fortunate to have a husband who completely supported me taking all the time that I needed to not have
Mm-hmm.
to rush to go back to work. I really acknowledge how fortunate I am to have had that option.
Yeah.
That I spent most of my time for those first 4 or 5 months praying, meditating, and journaling
Yeah.
incessantly. Like that's pretty
Yeah.
much all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I have, I think now, 4 big, thick journals full of just writing and
Right.
um, a lot. And then, of course, crying whenever I
Yeah.
feel the
Yeah.
emotion, and just realizing that, being very present with what is. I still
Yeah.
in that time had to move into my studio space. My release was up. I had signed it.
Oh,
I had to move. I had to do construction. So I was like, it wasn't like I wasn't doing things. I had these little projects, big projects that had to be done.
yeah.
And so I did them. And it was
Yeah.
really one day at a time.
Yeah. So as you move through that, this whole new body of work, really,
Yeah.
and you've been doing spiritual and mystical work for a long time. You've been doing. I mean, just tell us a little bit about the background that led you to this place. Before this year.
I became a mindfulness trainer back in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when really everything started to change, because up to that point, from the time I was 19 until that time, I was trying to go about healing all childhood trauma and all of those things through my mind. I was trying to do it
Right.
mentally. I thought that's where we did it, was
Just
in our
push it
mind.
through. Just push,
Yeah, just,
push, push. Right.
I could just think positive enough.
Yes.
If I could just train my mind to think positively. And it was, I did a mindfulness training class, and then I loved it so much that I went and did a mindful self-compassion training class. And that was really the game changer, because that was when I realized, I'm like, oh, I can talk nicely to myself. I can give
What a
myself love,
concept.
right? I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't know I could give myself love. I had no idea. So I started doing that, training that. And then I'm a sound healer. I became a sound healer in 2017. and voice. I started working with voice and drumming. I became a shaman. So it really took me down this path. I actually said that, oh, wow, doing mindfulness training, even from a Western point of view, even though I was spiritual, but I didn't know I was spiritual, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
It was a
interesting.
disowned part of myself. It was really
That's so I just always assumed you were spiritual.
and I always was, because I am, but it was a disowned part of myself.
And
Definitely.
you weren't public with that part of you. That was like a hidden piece of you.
It was very hidden. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember the first time I wrote a post about God on Instagram or on Facebook, I was so scared. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just remember how scared I was. Of like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I totally get that. I mean, because I came out of the corporate world and I was just so linear thinking. And all of my journey that took me into being an entrepreneur, 16, 17 years ago, was really was the spiritual side of things, right? And I was journaling one time trying to figure out what my business wanted to be, and I kept getting the message that it wanted to be a spiritual business, and I was like, "What? I don't think so."
What are you talking about?
Yeah, and so it's like we have to go to these places of being able to let that part of us come out and like blossom, really.
Yeah. And I was still doing it, Cami, up until Weston passed. That I was
Mm,
really like, that part of me that I wasn't claiming was really my mystical essence, and like fully
yeah.
just owning it.
Yeah,
That
and
I
I so
really
see you that way. I mean, and I've known you for a while now, and it's like totally see you in this very mystical, spiritual being. So
Isn't that funny?
we saw it anyway.
That's what's so funny about it. It's like I told my friend, I'm like, I'm mystical, and she's like, duh.
Yeah, yeah. Think.
I was like, oh. I'm like, no, I mean, like, I'm a mystic. And she's like,
Yeah,
I know. And it
yeah,
was so,
yeah,
yeah, it's just so interesting how those disowned part of ourselves we might not see, but other people
yeah.
definitely see them. And I realized it with you when I was at the learning the soul speaks process, when I went, oh, and that's the other thing from grief and staying present and being in this highly aware state. I became very aware of myself and my stuff that would come up. And it happened there with you guys when I realized, when my partner started reflecting back to me doing soul gazing, and instead of doing what the assignment was, she started saying what she saw in me instead of just like what she saw. And she's like, here's what I see in you. And I was like, oh, and I felt myself so reacting to that. And I was like, what's that
Oh,
about?
interesting.
And I realized,
Interesting.
oh, I was not in control of how she sees me. And then
Yeah.
I realized that that's what I used my gifts for as a mystic. My abilities of seeing and hearing and knowing was showing up and morphing before the person in front of me,
Yeah.
reflecting themselves back to them. So much so that I lost myself. I lost my identity. Like, it became a part of me
Mm.
I didn't claim. I didn't own it.
It was like you cut off an arm or something, right? Or something much deeper than an arm, even. You know.
So
Yeah.
strange.
Yeah.
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 So you, as you came through this year, and this is where I was talking about, where I have just seen you, the light of you just come to life in such a magical way. I mean, just a magical way. And, so I've seen you, so you won the North America's Greatest Speaker contest
I
this year, which
did.
is just so bold and brave of you and courageous of you in this year, right? I mean, to find your voice in all of this was like, it was just it touched so many hearts, but it was like the light of you just came to your brightest soul being of you. And that's what I saw in that. And, I got to see you at the Women Conference when the contest went on, and you were just magnificent. I mean, so magnificent.
Thank you.
And I see everything that you're stepping into right now. And so, give us just a little glimpse into what you are stepping into, because I know you've got all this new body of work coming to life. So just give us some of that. That's part of the story.
Yeah, thank you. I know that was the speaking contest was such an amazing definitely spirit filled. That was not me. Well, it was me being a channel. And now, yeah, with everything that I've learned over the 30 years of my life and my own healing journey, there's very practical things there that with the mindfulness training and the all the
Mm-hmm.
somatic things that I've learned. And then the process that Weston has given me, I'm putting that all together, and I'm actually writing a book about it. And
Yeah,
it's
it
called,
makes sense.
yeah, yeah. It's called Wake Up in the Game, because that's what Weston told me I'm here to do. It's like, you're here to
Mm-hmm.
help women wake up in the game of life before it's too late. And he's really adamant about, the things that he's told me about the afterlife. And it jives with things I've read. Like, since then, I didn't read a lot of near death experience type books and those kinds of things. But now I have been. I'm like, oh my gosh, Weston told me that. But so it's putting all of this together in a very practical framework that walks you through this path of awakening. And so it's embodied spiritual awakening. I'm very much about, I'm an embodied mystic. I'm here on the
Yeah.
planet Earth. My job is to, your job, everybody's job is to bring heaven to earth. And we do that through us and through our unique expression of the fullest essence of our soul, that we're here to contribute to the soul of the world. And
Yeah.
showing up and doing that, I think, is when you live your light. And when you, Weston told me, when you what lights you up lights up the world. And so when you
Right.
find that thing, you do that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think our world needs what you're doing so much right now. I mean, I believe that so many of us are called to do the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And this whole being able to tap into the spirit world, to be able to be embodied in who we are, all of that, I think, is just an essential part of us rising up, right? Raise up.
Yes. Yes.
I always say raise up, and it's the energy of us stepping into our light. And so what you're bringing is just so very much needed right now.
Yeah, thank you. I'm calling it the way of the feminine mystic, and it's very embodied and very that feminine energy that's definitely coming onto the planet now. And
Mm-hmm.
it's for men too. Men can embody
Yeah,
their femininity.
absolutely.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you give, I think they want to have that softer. Not every man
Yeah,
wants to be hard and
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of them that want to
We need
embrace.
those. We need men in that space. So
Do a
yeah,
hundred
yeah,
percent. And so
yeah,
it's really the more feminine path also invites in your masculinity. Of course, you need yourself to be structured and disciplined to do the things that you need to
yeah.
get done. But I think as women, I know I did in corporate America, shift into that toxic masculinity within myself of,
Totally, totally.
yeah, the nonstop, the hustle culture and yeah,
Yeah,
all of it,
yeah,
all of it.
yeah. Exactly. So, what does it actually mean to wake up in the game?
It means to realize, well, I think that to have a spiritual awakening is to remember and realize that you are a spiritual being, that you're a
Okay.
being of light in a body. And so to wake up in the game, Weston said the earth is the game of life. And so he showed me himself playing a video game, and he was controlling the little thing, and the avatar on the computer was running around and he was yelling at it. He's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing that?" And they said, "This is how your soul feels watching you live your life." I was like,
Oh,
oh.
wow.
And so
Wow.
it's really attuning ourselves into that deeper part of ourself that's always there, that's always speaking. I know mine always was, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's always is. And listening to it and starting to live your life from that place, which is deeply embodied. And it arrives first through the mind, and then it goes and sinks into the heart, and then it lands in our nervous system. And we embody that fullest essence of who we are, and we start living it in the world. And there's no there to get to. You
Mm-hmm.
continually meet your potential, and then meet it again, and then meet it again, and then meet it again. You just keep doing it. And when you get to the other side, when we exit this plane, we still get to do it on the other side. We
Mm.
leave with the consciousness that we accumulated. And he said the earth is like a shortcut for your soul, and that's why it's so freaking hard that
Mm.
if we can wake up while we're here and live a soul filled life, which of course, what's good for the soul and our contribution for ourselves is also
Yeah,
good for the whole. And that's a
absolutely.
very feminine way of looking at life, and that sacred reciprocity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. And I love the concept of that we are living it here, but then on the other side, we get to continue that work. So it's like you can see what Weston's been doing and bringing gifts back to you.
100%.
Yeah. And so that being able to know that what we're doing right here, when we're making choices that are soul led and soulful lives, that we're making those choices in that direction. That's helping us evolve. It's helping the world evolve, and it's helping just the bigger universal picture as well.
Yeah, and it's love. That's what it is
Mm-hmm.
it's our love, and how we express that through the unique gifts, talents, abilities, desires, interests, curiosities, intelligence, everything that makes us us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about grief. How does grief and loss become a portal, not just a pain, but to revelation and to wholeness? And I think your story has been a really good example of that. But how does that actually work? I mean, just give us some more of the what you felt and what came about, and getting to that next level.
I would say, while I explain the science of the grief, how it puts you into a state that lasts almost about 12 weeks, by the way, where you're in that state of being on a psychedelic journey. And so you're really open. And if you can meet
Mm-hmm.
it with presence and with
Yeah.
acceptance and
Yeah.
with allowing it to flow through you, it really does break you open. You begin to go into places inside of you where you start to feel the waves and the rhythms of emotion when you stop resisting things.
Right.
And it's letting go of that resistance and also letting go of clinging. So it's really kind of finding this middle path in life where
And choosing that.
actively choosing it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
active choice point all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as you show up for yourself in those difficult situations, you start to build that inner fortitude of, I can trust myself. Your nervous system starts to relax of like, oh, I can trust myself in my feelings. I can trust
Yeah.
myself in my own kindness. I could trust myself to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And all of those other areas inside of us that have been hardened start to open up because they want to open up. They
Mm-hmm.
want to open up. And
Mm-hmm.
so when like when you close one thing, you close all things. And the
Right.
same thing is true when you open one
You
thing, you
open all
open to
things.
all
Oh,
things.
interesting. That's
Mhm.
really beautiful. I mean, I'm just reflecting back, when my sister passed, and that was, I don't know that I had the insight to like consciously think of the choices. Although I did have I definitely had wonderful conversations with, like, really just magical moments where I was like, oh, my sister's here, right?
Uh,
Um, but so how does one really, in the moment of all the grief,
yeah.
how do they remember to look for that opening? I guess that's probably the question I'm looking for there.
Yeah. You don't need to look for the opening because it's there. And so
Mm.
it's really about I mean, when you're in grief,
Mm-hmm.
the more present you can stay in the moment, again, without the story. And it's
Right.
really hard for us to release that story from our minds.
Right.
And for I had a great technique, which I'll share, when I noticed a critical voice coming into my mind, the one that was like, you should have, why didn't you, da, 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
da, and it was mean. I actually stomped my foot and said, you're a liar. And it
It's
made
like,
it go
stop it.
away. I did. I was like,
That's
you're a
awesome.
liar. It's not really my real
Oh,
voice. It's not the
yeah.
voice I want to hear from. It's the voice of my ego. And I'm like, gosh, my own ego is attacking me right now. Jeez.
Yeah.
And
And then
so
what was the next step? So you're a liar. And then what
you're
was
a
the next
liar.
step?
And then coming into the presence, taking a deep breath, getting yourself in
Nice.
your body, breathing. And so, one of the most simple things I tell people to do to land inside the body, land inside the present moment, is to just stop, take a breath, and feel your heartbeat and your feet on the ground at the same time.
Mm, that's beautiful.
And it just
Because
brings
you're
you
it's
present.
whole body, right? It's like you're starting to fill into the whole body that way.
And just, it's a simple thing. Even people listening, I
So
hope they
simple.
stopped and did that. And when
Yeah,
you do, it's like
exactly.
you can feel like a warmth. I can feel a warmth inside of my body when I tune
Yeah.
into my feet and my heart. And, in grief, Well, and too, you've just went through some stuff too recently, and I could start to feel a wave. Everything comes in waves. And so I could feel the wave coming. I would be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I feel if this is going to be a big one, I can feel it. And unlike being underwater, you don't hold your breath. You breathe
Right.
through it, allow
You
yourself
breathe
to
in.
feel how you feel, let yourself cry, do what you need to do. Sound it
Yeah.
out, don't hold it in. I'm very big on vocalizing, not saying words, but just screaming it out, letting it out, and then letting it pass without the
Yeah.
story. I think that's the most important part, is the presence of mind to be with the feelings without the story.
Yeah. That's such good advice. Thank you for that. I'm sure that will really be helpful for a lot of our listeners. And
Good.
and it's just such simple things that you can do. So I love that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the mystic path. What happens when a woman first steps into her mystic path? What's the journey you're going to take them on?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So first we go through the beginning, those first foundations of acceptance, awareness, and allowance. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the three things, and really cultivating those skills in your life. And then from there, we move into forgiveness, which is a
Mm-hmm.
big process to go through. And I find that most often the most difficult part is forgiveness of the self.
I was
It's
going to
when
ask that
we
question.
forgive.
Is it forgiveness of who? And that's where I
We
kind of guessed it
forgive.
might be that. Yeah.
Yes, I think this is probably true of a lot of women. We forgive
Yeah.
other people easier than we
Mm-hmm.
forgive ourselves, and
Right.
so they going through the processes of self forgiveness. And Weston told me that forgiveness means releasing the wish that anything was different than it actually was,
Mm.
and so which is kind of like, oh, so it's like acceptance. It's very much like
Yeah.
acceptance, and that includes for yourself and
Mm-hmm.
letting yourself off the hook. So we work through forgiveness, and then we invite grace and experience that. And then we move into the actual processes now, where we've laid that foundation. We're in the mind still. This is all the mental work that we're doing. The forgiveness starts to move us into the heart. And then we move into the process of the actual steps that we start to walk. And that's through our truth, which is discovering what our truth is. And the truth is what lights you up. It's very
Mm-hmm.
simple. I mean, the concepts are very simple, but the work, as you know, is not.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So it's working
Because you're
through
really pulling things out that's deep within inside of you.
deep inside of you.
Yeah. That's
And
been hidden, or maybe even things that have been blocking, or
yeah.
that you need to release before that can even come through.
Yeah. And I believe that your conscious mind and your healing process and your level of awareness and your level of spiritual awakening will meet you right at the level that you are able
Yeah.
to process it. Like, you're not going to have people who have spontaneous Kundalini awakenings and like have an epiphany and they get everything, lose their minds. And
Yeah.
they're not wired to handle it. It would be like plugging a massive spotlight into my little wall socket. It would explode. Right. So
Yeah.
it's real. I really believe that we do this work. We say, okay, here's a little bit of light I can see. This is what I can
Yeah.
hold.
When
And
I
then
do my equine vision journey retreats, it's very similar thing that you're talking about is like people get what they need in the moment, right? It's like showing up and holding that space with the horses.
Mm.
Everybody's going to get what they can take and what they need. And it's not going to necessarily like throw them into, I mean, it's like you got to meet them where they're at, and they're going to grow to that next space so that the next
Right.
time they can grow to the next space after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you just keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep doing it. And we just get more and more comfortable with being uncomfortable as
Mm-hmm.
we walk this path. And it winds up, we go through all these different steps and processes until we wind up to the space where we are living as light. And like
Mm-hmm.
that's where we get to. And when we're there, that's when we're living from our authentic self. Our authenticity blooms, which is what I'm experiencing and what people are witnessing that I'm going through. And then you move into the giving is light, which is now you're giving from your overflow. And
Yeah.
it's no longer giving from wanting something back or needing applause or needing approval or needing
Uh-huh.
validation or how did I dropped in this morning when I was walking. I said, I was talking to a friend and I said, sweetheart, you have to stop drowning so he can breathe. You're in the water with him, but you're underwater holding him up and you're the one drowning. And you got to stop that. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, I feel like I can't breathe. Because she's always saying, I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe. And I guess because we do this as women, like, let me rescue
It's
you.
so interesting. It's really, really interesting. And it's like what you're talking about here is filling our own cup and then there's extra to flow
Yes.
versus like the opposite way, flowing and then trying to catch up.
Yeah, we can't give from our depletion. It's
Yeah.
why so many women are sick. It's why we get so burned out. It's why
Yeah.
women, I think it's why when you look at a couple who's like in their 60s, the woman looks like she's 95 and her husband looks great. And I'm like, that's because she's been so stressed out her whole life, not
Yeah.
just giving to
Yeah.
everybody and not
Yeah.
taking care of her needs too. And I don't know what that is in our culture that says that women need to constantly be self-sacrificing.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like
Yeah.
really learning to take care of ourselves first so we can give, put our oxygen mask on. I mean, that's it's a kind of a quirky little,
Yeah.
but it is true. It's, and when I think the other part of this is when we're really tuned into what we're needing and then we can give in a bigger way. This is what our world needs,
Oh,
right? I mean, you think
absolutely.
about what is going on in our world and the craziness. And I think this is why I'm so excited about the work that you're bringing out right now. It's because there is so much noise around us and so much scarcity and all the stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
And if if we're creating spaces where women can really step back into that core of themselves and move from that space in a really fulfilled, um, well taken care of, well taken care of being,
Mm,
that's what changes the world. That is what's going
absolutely.
to lead to such a better place for all of us.
Yeah, it's giving from your wholeness. And then you're not, I can't remember who said it. It's an ancient philosopher, but he said, from the whole, you take some whole, but still the whole remains. And I love that
Mm,
because that's exactly true. Like you
yeah,
can't take from wholeness, it's always whole. And so
yeah,
when we are always whole and we give from our wholeness, we share from our wholeness, we're expressing from our wholeness, it becomes very simple to let your no be a no.
yeah,
Becomes very simple to realize people who are just in a a lower vibrational state still, that you can send them love, but you can have boundaries around yourself. And it's not, and I always say that boundaries are not for other people. You don't need to tell people, obey my boundaries. They're for you. You're the one who doesn't
hmm
cross your boundaries.
right. That's
You're the
so
one who
true.
doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's absolutely true. And and it feels, it's one of those things, Cami, and it's like you say it, you express it. Women might get it. They might go like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But when you live it and you feel it and you become it inside of you, when your nervous system has embodied it, it's so different than just on the level of thinking it.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
good, so good. So, where can people learn more about your work, your mystic sisterhood? Just tell us a little bit more.
You can find me at thatmystic.com, and there'll be links there to That Mystic Sisterhood, which I am actually launching next week. So,
Oh,
uh,
perfect.
oh man, Spirit told me just get on it. But it doesn't have to
Go
be
do it.
perfect.
This is you.
Just
This
start
is you
doing it.
just taking action. I mean, this is what's part of so amazing this year, Joya, is that it's been a really difficult year, and yet you have found your this pathway, and it's like everything you've done leading up to this year set you up for this next evolution. I mean,
Million
it's like you
percent.
said that early on in our call here together, but it's like all the things you've done that made you ready to like really take this now and move with it.
Yeah, and thank you, Cami, and for seeing that and acknowledging that. It's so true. And Weston has told me that it's like, this was a soul contract, Mom. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's why you had a premonition. Your soul knew time was
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
And he's like, you could have stopped me from going, but it would have happened soon anyway, even if that did happen. I was like,
mm-hmm.
wow. And so, yeah, and I do feel like such a sense of responsibility to share what I know and what I've learned going through the most unbelievably painfully difficult, heart jabbing time of my life.
Yeah.
And finding so much love and peace and grace and gifts in it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And I know that that's not for me to keep for myself and be like, oh, okay, I'm doing okay, because I see how many people are hurting and really need it.
Yeah, you're such a beautiful soul. You're a beautiful, beautiful soul.
Thank you. Well, Cammie, and you know too, and so are you, and you know too that us doing our work, I think that this is the biggest impact and reason is that when we become whole and we start to emanate a different frequency of love, we're putting that out into the field, into the collective field. And that energy really does change the world. And to take that seriously and not call it woo woo, like it's been so dismissed.
It's
like, oh, woo.
Yeah. It's so I mean, it's so far from woo woo. It's like, it's such a grounded, rooted, I mean, I'm getting ready for my Ignite conference, right? And it's like the whole theme for Ignite, and you'll be there, is rooted flame. And so it's this, like the rootedness of how we stay true to what we're meant to be doing and how, what's inside of us and our gifts of who we are and bringing that all out. So letting that be grounded, but then the flame is the light of us finding our voice and putting our message out in the world. And I see that so much in you. I so see that in you.
And you too. And I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So that's so cool. Okay. So say your website one more time.
It's thatmystic.com.
Awesome. I love that. That's beautiful. Okay. The final question I always close with is, what are 3 pearls of wisdom you'd like to leave with us today?
3 pearls of wisdom. Oh, you gave me a surprise question. Okay. I would say that your greatest wound that you are in right now is also the doorway to the original wound that blocked your light. I would say that you already are everything you're seeking. Absolutely.
Wise.
And I would say stay present. Stay in the day that you're in and make the most of it. And don't wait to tell people how much you love and care about them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing your very heart-touching story with us today. I just really appreciate you. Appreciate what you're bringing into the world. And I know you are going to be doing amazing things and impacting so many women and men around the world. So congratulations on all that you're bringing into the world.
Thank you, Cammie.
Thank you.